Welcome you all to the course on machine learning. In today's session, we will be talking about the topic an introduction to the principal component analysis. In today's tutorial, we are going to discuss about the following contents. So first we will be dealing about why we need for the principal component analysis. Then we will be discussing about what is principal component analysis. Then we'll be talking about step-by-step computations or the implementations of principal component analysis. The later part we'll be discussing about the demo section, as well as we will discuss about the advantages as well as the application where the principal component analysis will be used. We will jump into the actual topic, why we need for the principal component analysis. So now the place are why we need to use our implement this principal component analysis means when individual object or some any data which could be represented with the multi dimensions, right? If the dimensions increases, automatically the complex or uh, the individual object which may have the multiple attributes, if the attribute increases, automatically the data representations complexes keep on increasing. Now, high dimension data is extremely complex to process due to inconsistencies in the features, which increases the computation time and make data processing and data analysis which are more convoluted. So the first, when if you have the only one dimensional data, so that means that if you have only one feature, say for example, if you are representing any particular objects, might be a car, so we will be representing by engine model. Then the other property or attribute could be the fuel ignition type, whether the petrol or diesel, and the third one might be the weight or the manufacturers. So and then engine size, so engine, I mean the rpm, and then horsepower. So these are the different features through which we will represent an object. So out of that, now we are going to identify the best feature through the dimensionality reduction method. That will be the part of principal component analysis. Now, what is a principal component analysis? As in the earlier I was explaining about a car. Car could have multiple attributes, might be the alignment type, and then size, and then manufacturers, and then fuel engines, and then uh, the horsepower, and then mileage. So these are the different parameters or different attributes through which an object could be represented. Out of that, so now we are going to identify the best attributes through which we will be uniquely identifying an objects. When we talk about a principal component analysis, is a dimensionality reduction technique that enables us to identify the correlations and patterns in a data set so that it can be transformed into a data set of a significantly lower dimension with loss of any important informations. So as per the information which is given in the diagram, so this is a simple data set which consists of multiple attributes. The first, the attribute could be a country, and so there are different countries which is given: USA, UK, and then USA and other countries, India and other countries. And then the second one is that the salesperson, again the name which is mentioned. Apart from that, the order date which is given in the date, right, in terms of date, and then order ID, and the number of units, so the number of units which is sold in the particular day, and then the ordered amount. So this here the last attribute or the last column which uniquely represents a amount. So after that, so out of these many attributes now, so we are going to implement a dimensionality reduction technique or principal component analysis, right? So here, out of these available attributes, we are going to select only the attribute which is going to give the major impact on the available data sets or the original data sets. So out of these multiple a b c d e f, out of these many attributes, we identified only three attributes, so which is uh, d, e, and f. That means the order id, and then units, and then the order amount. So these are the the three attributes which will give the maximum informations. So now this information which will be called as, out of that, the attribute which gives the major representation of the data, so that is going to be called as a principal component analysis. Now, so next we will discuss about step-by-step operations which we will be performing or dealing to implement a principal component analysis. The first step, so here we will be implementing or we will be doing on standardization of the data. So in that we will be doing a simple mathematical calculation. So where again we will be finding the mean, variance and other things. And the second one is that we are going to compute the covariance matrix for uh, uh, we are going to find out the relation between other component with the other elements. And then third element, the third step in which we are going to calculate the eigen values. And then so, based on the eigenvalue which we calculated, we are going to compute the eigenvectors. Once if we complete or compute this eigenvectors, then we will be calculating about the we will be computing about the principal components. Then that will be the final attribute. So that will be the end of are dimensionality reduction methods. So these are the following steps in which we will be dealing about the principal component analysis: standardization of the data, computing the covariance matrix, and then calculating the eigenvalues, and then forming the eigenvectors, and then we will compute the principal components, and then we will get the final result. So now this is a simple representation now through which how we can able to standardize the data. Standardization is all about scaling our data in such a way that all the variables in their values lie within a similar range. So here there are two columns. The first one is rating, which will vary from minimum is 1 and the maximum is 5. When you talk about the number of downloads which is given, the minimum is which is 342 and the maximum is 1383. Now, so what we are going to do is that in the standardization method, so we are going to uniformly we are going to scale the values. So instead of that having, so here one column which is having the range from 1 to 5, but in the second column here we have 342 to 1383. So that what we are going to do is that that value which we are going to convert it to the similar range of the first column. For that we are going to use that formula which is z is equal to variable value minus mean. So here for the individual column values row 1 and then row 2, we are going to find out the mean value, that means the average total number of elements, sum of total number of elements plus, I mean sum of the values divided by total number of elements. And so this is variable value minus mean divided by the standard deviation, so that we will get the transformed values. So that will provide our the standardization of our data. Now, so this is a formula in which we will be dealing about the variance. Variance is sigma square, which will be represented using the sigma of I is equal to 1 to n xi minus x bar, which is square. X bar is the mean xi value, and then the new value which will be calculated by subtracting the actual value minus the mean value which is calculated, and it's squared upon n minus 1. So this will give the variance value. And when we talk about variance, variance is another measure of the spread of the data in a data set. It almost identical to the standard deviation. So here standard deviations we are representing at the sigma, but here we will the variance which will be representing the sigma square. Now second, we will be discussing about the covariance. When you talk about the covariance, mean and standard deviations are one-dimensional calculations. However, datasets have more than one dimensions, and the aim of the statistical analysis of these datasets is usually to see if there is any relationship between these dimensions. Now, when we talk about covariance, is such a measures, it is always measured between two dimensions or more than two dimensions. So now again, what was the formula we are using to find out the covariance? So covariance of x comma y, which is sigma of I is equal to 1 to n, xi minus x dash, so that is the mean, and yi minus I dash. So this is, I was talking about the two-dimensional data. So the x data and then y data. So here first will be the x minus x bar and then y minus y bar multiplied and upon n minus 1. So this is the formula through which we will be calculating the covariance matrix. Now here, so I was explaining about the covariance matrix. So this covariance matrix, which will be used or which will be expressed the correlation between the different variables in the data sets. It is essential to identify heavily dependent variable because they contain biased and redundant information which reduces the overall performance of the model. And when we talk about the covariance value, which denotes how the codependent two variables are, and whether it is if the covariance is negative, which is the both the values are indirectly proportional. If the values are positive, and it is directly proportional. So this is what how we will be able to find out the covariance matrix. So again, we're talking about the covariance matrix. Next up, we will be discussing about the eigenvalues. When we talk about the eigenvalues are the mathematical constructs, so that must be computed from the covariance matrix in order to determine the principal component of the data sets. Now, when you talk about the eigenvalues and then eigenvectors, right? Basic principal components are the new set of variables that are obtained from the initial sets of variables. They compress and process most of the useful information that was scattered among the initial values. So here, whatever the two-dimensional value we have for that, we are going to find out the eigenvalues using the same mathematical calculation. So let me talk about the two-dimensional, 2 cross 2 matrix, which is and A multiplied by the vectors, which is equal to lambda multiplied by v. So here v represents the vector values, right? And A is the array value, which is we are going to use for the sample calculations. So when we talk about the uh, eigenvalues, which is a multiplied by the v, which is equal to lambda dot v. So here, and we are going to multiply with this a minus lambda phi dot v, which is equal to 0. Here we are going to talk about the lambda is a scalar value, and then I will be the identical matrix, which will be the diagonal values are which is 1, right? And that will be multiplied with the same dimensions of the matrix A. And so this is a simple mathematical example through which how we will be finding out the eigenvalues. So let me talk about the A is the matrix which the zeros 0 1 and then minus 2 minus 3. So this is the data elements, and then we are going to find out that A minus lambda I lambda. So here which is the variable which I am going to consider lambda, and then the I value is equal to 1 0 and then 0 1. If I multiply all these values, so I will get 0 1. I'll get 0 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus, and so here this will be multiplied by this the unit vector. So here I'll get this lambda. So here also I'll get lambda. If I simplify this, minus lambda 1 and then minus 2 minus 3 minus lambda. If I simplify this, I'll get lambda squared plus 3 lambda plus 2. After simplifying this value, I'll get this lambda value which is equal to minus 1 and then minus 2. So these are the two eigenvalues. Out of that, whatever the value which is maximum, so here this minus 1 which is going to have the maximum, so that will be the principal component. So here we are going to consider the first element minus 1 and then minus 2. Out of this, minus 1 is the greater value, so that is going to be used for calculating the next steps. So here we are going to use that the minus 1 value, and then we will be forming the two equations, and then we will be getting this. So a minus lambda 1, which is I equal to the vector value. Again we will be getting the two equations v11 and then v12, which is equal to 0, minus 2v1 minus 2v22. So here we will get v1 is equal to minus v of 1 to 2. So here we will be getting the two values, so that will be substituted in the equation. So here the v are the vector values, eigenvector values, and after finding that, that value will be the final value, and based on that we will be adjusting our actual data. So this is again the eigenvector value which we are talking about, whether it could be the plus one value and then the minus one value. After simplifying it, that the eigenvector value which will be the k1 of plus one and then minus one, and then the eigenvector v2 value which will be the plus one and then minus two. And so here the k1 k2 are the constant value, so we will be using here. When you talk about the principal component analysis, after doing all these things, right, the PC1 is the most significant and stores the maximum possible information. So out of these many the features, there could be any possible components, principal component 1 and then component 2 and then component 3. There could be any number of features. After that, uh, uh, the component or the attribute which gives the maximum information, or the maximum information about the data set, so that will be considered as the principal computation or principal component 1. So here the PC1 which is give the maximum information about the data. So here the PC2 is the second most significant principal component and stores the remaining maximum information and so on. So here that is represented in this direction. So this will be the second most important data. So this is our the principal component 2. So here this is our the fourth steps we are talking about. Once you have computed the eigenvalues and then based on that derived the eigenvectors, all we have to do is order them in the descending order, where the eigenvectors with the highest eigenvalue is the most significant, and thus from the first principal component. Based on that, whatever the operation we did, so we found out that mean value and then median and then standard deviations, and then we found out the covariance matrix. Then we calculated the eigenvalues and then eigenvectors. After that, whatever the value which we get the maximum value, so that will be the principal component. So here at the end, so this is again another data set. So here at the end that we will be getting that the last step in performing the principal component analysis is to rearrange the original data with the final principal component, which represent the maximum and the most significant information of the data sets. With this, we will stop our the today's tutorial. In the next upcoming session, we will be dealing with the mathematicals of the principal component analysis. Thank you.